By the way, Northeastern has been so gracious to me. It's the hospitality in Northeastern. I told my wife Betty I'm going to Northeastern Conference, and I said it's one of my favorite conferences to visit. Always great fellowship, good worship, good food. I mean, does it get better, you know? So we love being here in Northeastern. It's kind of interesting to tell you, one of the world records we're working on is actually with Gillette Razor Company. We wanted to do an off-site world record event, and we said, what can we do that the community would value? And we said, the name of this community is Gillette. So how about Gillette Razor Company? So we called their administrative offices, found the marketing people, talked to them about them sponsoring a world record in Gillette, Wyoming with our Pathfinders and the community kids. And we're working on that. It's getting very close. They're very excited. The world's largest first-time shavers or something. I don't know what it's going to be. Watch your newsletter. It's going to be fun. And the Gillette people in the community are so excited that their name, Gillette, will be sponsored, you know, in a world record. So it's kind of a... By the way, let me tell you a little bit about the community. They can't wait to have us there. Oshkosh was okay. They weren't bad. They weren't anti-us or anything. But it's like, have you ever been to a one-star hotel? I was there a couple times, and you know, the guy doesn't look at you when you check in. He has a cigarette coming out the side, you know, it doesn't look, and you ask about the ice, he just grunts, you know, down there. You know, but if you ever, I've only been to 3 or 4 5-star hotels in my whole lifetime, but there's a difference between a 1-star and a 5-star. The eye contact, what can we do, the terminology used, the thinking about what you need before you need it. I would say Oshkosh gave us a good solid 3-star experience. It wasn't bad, it's good, solid. But what we have in Gillette in the community is a 5-star experience. They're bending over backwards to do whatever they can to make our camporee a success. I'll give you one example. And you'll see it in the next newsletter. By the way, everybody here, this is the big red flag moment. Make sure, can you just shut that door a little bit? The big red flag moment here is you've got to get the newsletter. Usually there's about 6,000-7,000 people registered right now in the newsletter. Guess how many we have registered right now? 26,000 people. That's 23 to 26, depends on what day, you know, that I get reports. That tells me if you're a business person that people are interested in going to Gillette, Wyoming from all over the world. You're recognized around the world for what you offer the International Camporee. So back to the Gillette, Wyoming experience, an example. The evening program area is across the street. We have this big camping area. We have more under roof than we had before. They're actually going to turn on the air conditioners and all kinds of things. We'll have flush toilets during the day from 9 to 5. Yeah, my wife's very excited about it. That's a big deal to her. Very big deal to her. It's 9 to 5 during the activity time. So these buildings that we're going to be in, they all have these restrooms, flush toilets. Of course, when we go back out to the camping area, it's regular, you know, the regular routine. But through the bulk of the day, it's that opportunity when those buildings are open. So you would want to be aware of that. Betty told me to mention that. And obviously, why she told me is the response. That's good, okay. I get it. I'm a little slow, but I get it. But the community, because of us coming there, the assembly area wasn't large enough for us. So the community, on their own, after hearing and seeing the pictures and all who we are, what we're about, they're putting $1.2 or $3 million. They voted 1.3. They hope to be under budget. They're going to grade and make it real flat and beautiful where our assembly area is. They're going to replant seed. They're going to put in irrigation. They're going to bring power in so we don't have these noisy generators like we've had in the past around our big screens and things like that. And then also they're bringing in fiber optics. If you're a fiber person, they're bringing in 100 gigabytes. So what that offers us is a lot of flexibility with some drone shots and some other things and special effects that we're doing. Oh, by the way, Moses is still coming. He's coming. We contacted him. He's coming. And Miriam. And of course, Miriam's here because, again, my wife's influence. She says a lot of things in the Bible about guys, and that's good. She says, but there's ladies that are the foundation on all these men, these amazing men. She's right. You know, if it hadn't been for Miriam and the influence of her on Moses when he went into the palace, he would have compromised, become a different person, you know. And the story is amazing. The script takes 2 years to write, just for our 2.5 years now. It takes 2.5 years to write the script. We take it through a lot of my professor friends at the seminary, and we just make sure it's accurate, or it could have been accurate. Sometimes we take a little liberty. If you remember back some other camperies, we had Eltani as an antagonist, if you will, someone who was questioning about where God is, and Daniel, how can you believe in somebody you've never met, that kind of thing. So we write, but if you look at Daniel chapter 2, it says there were astrologers, soothsayers, Chaldeans with the intellectuals back in the, so there could have been an Eltani. So we wrote her in, because they're in the Bible, we just put her closer to the script. So just let you know how we do that evening program. But you're going to really like a lot of special effects. It's kind of pushing us a little bit, because Moses did a lot of amazing things with the plagues and some other things that were going on there. So yeah, that tells you a little bit about how the community is responding to our presence. If you're going to stay off-site, in the community itself, we have more hotel rooms than we did around Oshkosh. If you just want to get them early, some of the big chains like IHG, Holiday Inn, Marriott, Hilton, all that, their software won't open up till 1 year before you arrive, your date. So you might want to call the hotel, say, put us on the list on the side, so that as soon as it opens up, you can import us in or something. Some hotels are doing it, some aren't. Some are taking reservations right now. Price points are the least expensive hotel rooms that we've found in the community is $33 a night. Days in. I know. And they're sweet. The suites, the days in there, or the Comfort Inn, whatever it's called, is $44 a night. And,
is that a half star?
And it's a 0.3. I don't know. It's pretty basic. But here's how I look at it. As a kid, I used to go snow skiing, right? Up in the mountains, we couldn't afford it because I had to rent everything. So we just found the least expensive place we could find to live. All I need is a place to sleep and get a shower. That's all I need. I'm going to be gone all day. So that's what you're looking for. And then the prices go up. I don't know where the top ceiling is, but there's a variety of prices in the area. The least expensive way to get to Gillette would be to fly into Denver, Colorado, if you're flying. Denver has, and you have three, at least if you're in this area, you have 3 airports of options. This is northeastern, so if you're down south a little bit more, or up north toward Boston, there's some options there. There's a friend, I don't know if she's in here, she mentioned that she went to a leadership training thing last summer. And I think your price point for the airfare was what? To get to, is that round trip?
Round trip, yeah.
What airline were you on?
It was Frontier.
Okay.
Frontier direct.
Okay. So that might be the best value. Everything seems to be going up now. Who knows what? But just keep in mind, you're all shoppers. You're Pathfinder leaders. You know how to stay on it, put your staff on it. Just keep looking for the bargains, the deals. Some people are going a little bit early, and they go 5 hours north. You can go to Yellowstone and experience that with the kids. And then you can do 5 hours across east towards South Dakota is where Gillette, Wyoming is. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. That's why we're so surprised we're there, because God's led us there. It's a whole story that we don't have time to tell you. I told a little bit yesterday at the seminar, but it's amazing how God led us to this place. Oshkosh is fine. We're there 20 years, but they're an air show property. And the place we had our evening program, they put a parking lot in there. And so they're moving on with their air show. They're not really about, I mean, they appreciate us, but you understand what I'm saying. And so in the Gillette context, they're all about us. We are their Super Bowl. We are their Olympics. When we finally got our last vote, and I told the group yesterday, we got a unanimous vote all the way through the process when we made a presentation of a T present. You know what I'm talking about? T strengths. Here's, strength, weakness, strength, weakness. We went through those with online because it was, it was COVID times when we made the move. It was a unanimous vote. We should go west. And so there's a lot of wisdom. It wasn't flippantly done. A lot of wisdom went into this about where God's led us to be right now. So it was a unanimous vote. But when we called Gillette, they worked so hard. The governor of the state has called us, offered us the National Guard for medical support, all kinds of things. They're just very engaged from state level, government, all the way down to county and community. Interesting to tell you, the fellow in charge of fire, we call them fire chiefs in the community. Come to find out, he's from Loma Linda. He's an avid Christian, very active, and he's right there in the community. So I looked at him, I said, Saturday night we usually have a fireworks show. Not just a regular one. I mean, we throw everything in there, just for the kids. And he says, I said, it might be dry that time of year, but can you work with us? Can you figure out a plan so we can have our fire? He winked at me. He says, I'll do my best. I'll do my best. He will. He'll try to do his best. In fact, when I was in Australia last week, I met a lot of fellows that do fire stuff out there. And some are part of my faith, some aren't. I think a few of them I met weren't even Christian. That's fine too. We love them all. And he's going to come. This whole group, Fire Brigade from Australia, is coming to the Camporee to help us run and support you and the safety of our Camporee. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's a great location. And it's high desert. It's a little different experience. It's going to be chilly at night. You want to bring coats. I think of my Caribbean friends already. I'm talking to all of them down there. I'll be in Jamaica for their big Camporee here coming up in a few weeks and a couple months. And I'm going to mention to them, come like it's winter time at night. But during the day, it's going to be hot. So it's a contrast. When I talk high desert, just to get that back of your head. My other tip is right over here. Let me see if I can do this without squealing the speaker. This little tip, this is fun to tell you. I go to Goodwill stores on a regular basis. My wife says I have a problem. She's going to get me some treatment for it. But I find some real bargains there. I don't buy every time I'm in there. But, I was there the other day. Where was I? North Carolina before I came here. Australia, North Carolina, and then up here to see you guys. And I saw this, I'm on Lake Michigan near Anderson University, and I have grandkids now, and they cost a lot of money. Betty buys these fancy little outfits, that have names on them, and brand, and I can't slow her down. It's useless. I mean, she spends the money the way she wants to. Okay, that's good for her. And but me, I'm always looking for strength. So I got a little 5-year-old grandson, in Lake Michigan on those waves. I looked at this. I said, this is what that little Carter guy needs. He needs this. And so I'll put him out there in that wave. He doesn't care what this thing looks like, or he doesn't care if I bought it brand new or not. It costs $3. $3. And I'm going to give this to him, wrap it, give it to him. And he's going to be thrilled. He's going to love it. The 5-6-year-old, come on, he's out there just having fun on the water. The point I want to make with this is you work with parents and all, don't send your best towels, your best clothes, don't send your best socks, your best tennis shoes to Gillette, Wyoming. Encourage your family members and your club, your kids. Just go to Goodwill. You can get shoes for $3-4, nice tennis shoes. Give them through because they're going to be in mud and they might lose them. And you won't believe the washcloths and the towels we get at the end of the Camporee. And there's some nice towels. We shouldn't have those nice towels. Just bring regular old whatever. Just go to Goodwill or Salvation Army. You can find these things very reasonable. Encourage your as far as suitcase, I don't know, is Mr. Ryan, Coordinator Ryan in here? He's my shuttle. He picked me up at the airport. He brought me. I don't think he's here right now. My luggage went one way. I came here. I'm wearing what I got, kind of thing. And so I went to a Goodwill store half a mile from here and bought my suitcase for $5. There it is over there. And so I just put it in there, and I got my duffel bag, my suitcase, all leather, everything. You know, it has brass stuff on it. It's a fossil. Is that what it's called? Something? I don't know. It's fancy, I guess. And all leather. And so luggage, just get something very inexpensive. You go there 3 or 4 times, you'll find something. You don't have to buy it every time you go there. But that's a tip for fundraising and helping your parents. You know, keep the cost down for the whole experience for the camping. Now, uniform's a different thing. You want to dress them up, give them everything they can, get them looking good, because they'll be with some of the sharpest Pathfinders around the world. The drill and march is happening again. Some of the best drill teams in the world are coming. It's true, Japan is coming. They're all the same height. They have the same glasses, the same haircut, and they march like they're just, you know, like the birds in the sky. I mean, so some of the best are coming. The whole crowd out of Japan, they're coming. And so they'll be back. Also, the drum corps, we have that going on, as always. Your kids might want to know about, again, get the newsletter. It's announced this month in the newsletter. It comes out once a month. It's a quick read. Gives you all the tips and tricks. I'm trying to talk too fast. Tips and tricks about world record events your kids can participate in. But there's online edition now for the choir, a 300-person choir. They're going to have online edition. They're going to build community as a choir before they even get to Gillette. So these kids will meet each other from all over the world in the choir. Very first time, it's a dream of mine, is to have an orchestra, a Pathfinder Camporee orchestra. It's going to happen. We've tried several times, but we got an orchestra being coordinated. It's also online editions. If you have kids that are into those instruments, they would love to participate in the orchestra. And of course, then we have online editions to be an actor or actress in the evening program. So that's where we collect young people from. We don't use professional actors and actresses. We want to use our own kids. That's why they come 4 or 5 weeks early, and rehearsals are very aggressive. They have to memorize a lot of stuff, as you understand how that works. But there might be opportunities for some young people. Just be aware as leaders that that's happening. All that online stuff happens this month. Get the newsletter, get the newsletter. The style of leadership today is very different than 20, 15, 20 years ago. 15, 20 years ago, the leaders would get all the information from the organization, the event, and keep it real close, and then I'll give you information when I want you to know what's going on. Because then I stay in control. You know, and I'll tell you. That style of leadership's gone if you haven't figured it out. Let it go, get rid of it. It's not, what you want to do is everybody around you want them to know as much as you know what's going on. So you want everybody else, the parents included, to have the newsletters so they know what's coming up and why is it happening. There's a phrase my dad used to use, people are down on what they're not up on. I thought it was a dumb phrase when I was a teenager, but he drove that into me. People are down on what they're not up on. It's true. As I got older, started being a part of my specialty area is large events. That's what takes me around the world every week. I'm somewhere in the world. And I specialize in anything 10,000 people and larger is my specialty area. So I teach and train that, not only in seminary, but also to other people and organizations around the world. So people are down on what they're not up on. If they know what's going on, they're much more comfortable to support it. By the way, for the Pathfinders, for whatever reason, can't make it to Gillette, Wyoming, because of the 100 megabyte of streaming we got for the evening program, we've never had that much. We're going to be streaming it. We have a live anchor desk provided by Voice of Prophecy. So you can sit at home in the comfort of your home, have a watch party, and watch the evening program in Gillette, Wyoming each night. Of course, we're East Coast. You know, we're on West Coast out there. Or not West Coast, it's Mountain Time, Denver time. So you have to figure that a little different. Or if you can't watch it live, what you can do is watch it. We'll capture it, put it up, and you have a watch party the following night. So we want every Pathfinder, anyone's interested in youth ministry, to be influenced by the International Camporee. And this is another way we're doing it, is with the technology. Fundraising is going to be important to you. It's important that you start, the greatest point I can give you right now is just start in prayer about it. Just ask God, okay, I'm going to do my best. I'm not really good at this, maybe I am pretty good at it, but give me ideas and creativity and approaches that will allow me to advance putting some dollars together, get my kids out to the International Camporee. By the way, when you assemble out there at the International Camporee, like many of you in the room did in Oshkosh in 2019, you're sitting among some of the best fundraisers in the world. There's 105 countries at our last Camporee, 105. Can you believe that? Everybody go, ooh. Ooh. Okay, go, ah. Ah. You know, in Adventism, there's no other gathering outside of people paid to go to the General Conference session that we have that many countries all in one place at one time. And now, with the GC session reducing its numbers, the largest Adventist gathering on the planet is right there in Gillette, Wyoming, in next summer. So you'll be a part of that. It's our own city. Do you know we have our own radio station? Our own newspaper? We have our own law enforcement group of people and our own fire department. We have a medical team of over 150 people that serve our city, our Pathfinder city that week. So we do the radio station, you know why? Let's say one night, it's kind of unlikely, but it could happen. We get rained out one night at the evening program. We have it where we can you can stay in your campsite, turn on your boom box, and listen to the evening program. Well, the Bible story will continue the very night that you have to be in your campground, raining, whatever. So we're not main stage, but we can hear it, and the kids will know exactly where the Bible story is. So we go the next night, they can hear it, they can pick it right up, and we'll keep the impact of the Bible story going. That's another reason why you have a low-power radio station over our whole campground. Another fundraiser we shared at the last seminar yesterday was using a map, a tripod, a visual aid in the lobby of your church, where you actually take a little felt piece of twine and you show how along the way, if you're going to do a road trip or if you're going to fly it down to Denver and then drive up 5 hours, you'll just show how much it costs to go along the way. And you take a journey with your local church, saying, okay, church family, we're headed out of say, Queens, New York, here we go. And we want to get to Andrews University pretty soon, but we're only a couple hours out because that's all the money we have. So if you could help us to get from where we are here, here in Ohio, on over to Michigan, that'd be terrific. We appreciate that very much. So you just take a journey. You only have to have 15 seconds of announcement time. Put young people up there. Church family, thank you for your help. We're trying to raise money to get from Andrews University over to Twin Cities, Minnesota. Help us, please, help us. And that's all. Just short announcements. Keep it in front of the church family. It's a very powerful thing. You need some kind of visual goal device. Think about it, pray about it. What you can put in your lobby, what can be insert into the bulletin, so you keep it in front of the church family. That's very important. Also, if you're doing a road trip across, contact academies or schools. You'll find us in the newsletter and also on the website under pre-planning right now. Shows you all your routes. If you're coming up from Texas, you're coming up from Southern Cal, you're coming out of Orlando, where I talked to some friends of mine. They're working hard coming out of Orlando. Along the way, they're doing a road trip. And so along the way, there's the academies and universities and schools. And you can contact them in advance. Just put down your bedding, see if you can grab a shower and then put them back on and keep going. There's another approach to keep your costs down and is travel at night. Use these coaches, these big buses, so that you're traveling through the night, and then you can pick up some good time across. Coach USA, if you call the number that we put in the newsletter, and it's on the website, there's a contact. He'll give you the best prices because he doesn't go through corporate. He's just doing it on the side. Coach USA has a depot right there in Gillette, Wyoming, because all the coal mines and everything, they transport the workers out to the coal mines. So that's why they have a depot in a small. You know how many people live in Gillette? 32,000. 33 on a big day, but 32,000. So we're going to double their community size by coming to their community. That's why I told you earlier, this is their Olympics, this is their, their major event that they're preparing. There is a Walmart there. We have been meeting with the Walmart people, and you can pre-order things in advance. Again, the newsletter will give you these tips and tricks. So it's all there waiting for you. You don't have to go up and down aisles. Don't do that to yourself. Or if you're doing ground coming out of Denver, you can go to Costco there or Sam's and grab your stuff as you come up the road another 5 hours. There's many different ways to gather the bulk of what you want, even before you get to Gillette, Wyoming. We would suggest you not come in Rapid City, South Dakota, which is 2 hours to the east of Gillette. That's where the motorbike event is going on, same time our event, but they don't affect us, nor do we affect them. Outside of, you just don't want to come and go out of South Dakota, would be my suggestion. You'd come out of Denver. I know California's dropping in Salt Lake City, and then doing a road trip over to Yellowstone, and then coming over another 5 hours down the road to Gillette. If your kids like to do dinosaurs, if they're into dinosaurs, things like that, there's a dinosaur dig along the way. You'll find that information. It's sponsored by Southwestern Adventist University in Texas. They have an amazing dig. They'd love to host your kids there. And there's a lot of things in the newsletter, on the website even now, that'll give you tips and tricks of what you can do as you come and go to and from Gillette, Wyoming, if you're doing a road trip. And if you're not, that's fine. You can still fly it. There's a lot of things to do even out there as you're going from Denver up to Gillette. What else would I want to know if I was you? The fundraiser, more fundraiser ideas we'll have in the newsletter. There's some on the website already. And I think tomorrow your meeting, you'll be discussing a lot of details about maybe, I know of one conference, they're putting these little pods. Each club is given a pod. And so a dozen clubs are getting together and they're putting the pods in a semi-trailer or a shipping container. They're doing it both ways. And then shipping it out to Gillette, Wyoming. There is a place to place all the things that you mail in advance out in Gillette. So when you get there, it's already there. Camplex is the name of the property. They're very kind to offer us space there, even prior to our arrival. You'll get the details. You can't mail it out a year in advance. There is a limit, there's a window. So you'll want to read that in the newsletter. It's on the website also. So just kind of, think about all your options for your, get your kids there, get your staff there. Some people have to rush to and from because of work. Some people can take extra time, take their holiday, vacation time. There's a lot of different ways to do that. I probably will show you any questions about what you can stop me anytime. And any questions about what yes, sir, right there. Yes, go ahead.
You've mentioned that we could fly into Denver, Colorado. From
Right.
Denver, can we also fly into Gillette, or do we have to drive?
Yeah, when you fly into Denver, you would drive 5 hours north to get to Gillette. So sometimes buses can meet you there, or you can rent cars or whatever in Denver and drive. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
What'd you say? I was
No.
I get it?
Can we fly, or can we also fly?
I think what he's asking,
Oh.
are there flights from Denver to Gillette?
Oh, yeah, there is, twice a day.
Oh,
Yeah, twice a day. It's a big airport.
okay.
And
Thank you.
it's hilarious. It's a small airport. You turn around in it. Oh, I guess that's the airport. Yeah, but it's really nice. In fact, the video, if you go to campree.org, you can see an interview with the manager of the airport. They're trying to add more flights. United Airlines is actually the airline that goes in from Denver up to Gillette, Wyoming. And they're going to give us permission to put our kids on the tarmac where every day when the airplanes come in, we're going to have a drum corps out there. We're going to have a color guard. Whoever gets off that plane, they think they're the president. They're going to come down that little ramp, and our kids are going to be there. We already have a coordinator. I don't think she's a Northeastern.
She's right there.
Is she?
Right behind you.
Is that? Yeah, that's you.
That's
Because
the
we've
one.
already put you in the newsletter. Your picture in there. I thought she was from this area. So you're going to be there at the Gillette Airport, meeting and greeting. We'll have some drill team there and everything. And so we have a lot of dignitaries that are flying into the small airport, and then a lot of local miners that are coming in to go to work, and they're going to get the treatment. And you're going to meet and greet them there. Each day, you'll coordinate that for us. And you talked about coordinating some kind of meet and greet down in Denver, but I don't know. We'll probably talk to Rocky Mountain Conference, Central States, and have them do that since that's their hometown. But if you take care of Gillette, that'd be great. So yeah, he's gonna put us on the tarmac. And I asked him, is this FAA regulation? Can we do this? He looks at me, yeah, we can. We're Gillette, Wyoming. It's different. It's just different than Newark, where I flew out of. Yes, sir.
Instead of doing the fundraising,
Yes.
Is it possible for you to negotiate with some bus company or airline to lower the cost of transportation costs?
That's a great question, and I think it's going to be discussed tomorrow, how people can do group. Watch your newsletter. There's some executive with some airline that's an Avis Christian. He's trying to get some really good prices. There's a couple of conferences looking for charter, believe it is, to bring them into, they just take over the whole plane kind of thing. So once anybody gives us an idea that's working for them, we'll put it in the newsletter so you can look at it and see if you can use it, that idea. Yes, ma'am?
What's the closest Costco from the site?
Closest Costco?
Yeah, is there a Costco?
Yeah, you're a Costco girl. Yeah, my wife is too. And yeah, the closest is Denver below us, Casper, Wyoming, which is 2.5 hours from us. You would want to, but it's not convenient unless you're driving by it to come to Gillette. You would want to think Walmart, probably pre-ordering out of Walmart.
Is there another one other than Walmart?
Yeah, there's 2 other grocery stores. It's a city, a lot of great restaurants there. You can see they have a lot of restaurants there. And some nice hotel options, all price points. But yeah, maybe Google up their website and check on that, because Betty's a real Costco gal. She knows what she wants. She knows she wants that kind of stuff. Yeah. And by the way, wherever the Camry goes, that's the #1 retail Walmart in the world. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Wherever we go, that's where the #1. And we get the attention of Fayetteville, Salem Springs, Arkansas, North Arkansas, where the headquarters is. They know we're coming. The fella in Gillette has already studied the manifest, what was sold over in Oshkosh, and he's already ramping up, talking to his staff. Can I tell you a quick story? It's very fascinating. There's a group out of somewhere out east here, okay? It's just not northeastern, but out east, that the adult leaders, when they heard it's going from here to Gillette, they said, oh no, we're not going to, it's another day, we're not going to do it. Even though the West Coast has come our way for 20 years, you know, they don't think about that. They said, oh, we're not going to try to figure that out. So they looked at each other at their meeting, and they says, well, who's going to announce this to the kids and the parents that we're not going to Gillette? And they looked at each other and said, well, I'm not doing it. The other one said, I'm not doing it. And they said, okay, well, here's what we need to do. Let's go to Gillette, one of these walking tours. By the way, there's 5 this year. There's a walking tours. You can see it on the website and the newsletter. It's 5 tours. We feed you lunch. We show you everything. You can stay a day earlier, accommodate earlier, and see and make reservations, whatever you want to do in the community. But so they came out, 5 of them. I don't know why it took 5 of them to come see why they're not coming, but they're there. They came a day early, 2 days early, unbeknownst to me. They went all over the community to figure out why they're not coming to Gillette, Wyoming. It's a large club, large church, and everywhere they went, they had such positive impressions. They went to Walmart. There's a stalker. You know what that guy does? Or lady? At nighttime, you know, they're putting everything back up, or end of the day, you know, you get it. And so they stopped a stalker there at Walmart and says, hey, have you ever heard of Pathfinders? And the guy looks back at them, oh yeah, they're coming. I said real bit, they're coming. And they're coming in 2024. And we're getting ready for them. And that made such an impression on this undercover group that when they came to the actual tour the next day, after doing their research for 3 days it was, for the tour, they come to me, you know, hat in hand kind of thing, you know. Well, Pastor Ron, we came to figure out why we're not coming, and we figured out why we are coming. And we're bringing as many people as we can. And so I share that story with you. If you're hesitating, please just take the story and do with it, you know, what you want with it. I think you'll love the community. They can't wait to have us there, as we illustrated. Let me just show you a little video clip that you might like to see. This is a little report Here, let's go with it, right here.
In 2019, over 55,000 Pathfinders and leaders from 105 countries caught a glimpse of heaven on earth as they became part of a truly global Christian community. They met in Oshkosh, Wisconsin for the largest 6-day Adventist youth event on the planet, the chosen International Pathfinder Camporee. During the Camporee, Pathfinders had many opportunities to make new friends from all over the world as they engaged in activities and experiences that brought them closer together and taught them many new skills. Some favorite activities included pen trading, earning honors, blacksmithing, zip lining, navigating the huge obstacle course, and various sports. Pathfinders also participated in daily parades, drill and march team performances, and world records. Each evening, campers came together to worship and were inspired by the amazing Bible story of David. Throughout the week, 1,320 Pathfinders were baptized, and over 1,000 returned home to study for baptism. Pathfinder Ministry represents the strongest local church youth ministry program within the Seventh-day Adventist Church. With God's support and the dedication of Pathfinder leaders, it will continue to make a lasting difference in the lives of youth and in their communities.
There you go. There you got your camporee right there. What do you think? Isn't that great? Yeah, all these videos I'm showing you are on the website right now. You just pull them down, use them however you like. We used to send out DVDs, but that's gone. That's gone. Isn't that right? They're gone. See, this next generation knows it. Yeah. Oh, you had a question, please.
What's the website and when?
Oh yeah, camporee.org. It's an organization. We're not a business. We're not an education edu. We're .org organization. So camporee, 2 E's.org. That's a great, and you can sign up for your newsletter there too. Another question?
How many people go hold on the campsite?
There's a ceiling we have on this camporee. We're going to keep it the same size we had in 19. We're just going to move it with 55,000 on the weekend, 60 with day passes and everything bumps. But through the week, we're going to keep it at 55,000. We think that's good judgment from a business standpoint to move the camporee. After that, there's other possibilities. But we're just going to keep it. And by the way, I'm not trying to put fear in your heart, or there's no big sales thing here. I'm just telling you the fact. The last 5 camporees have sold out every single time. And there's thousands, I'm not talking hundreds, thousands that call my office asking, begging, pleading to get tickets. So here's my advice. As you think about your fundraising, your master plan, get your tickets first. Then you can figure out your transportation and your equipment and the food and all that. Just don't lose out. If you can't use the tickets, call your conference office, put it on a list at the office youth department. It'll sell. You can resell your tickets. No one's ever been stuck with tickets. All over the world, that's happening. Yes, ma'am. So far, it's a little over 5,000. On the website, it shows 3,700, but it's frozen. The website, there's a little tech stuff going on. People your age are working on it, and so it's a little over 5,000 right now. Yeah. So, yes, ma'am, in the back.
Okay, about RVs.
RVs are good things.
Yeah. You're trying to get one.
Yeah.
I saw on the website where you have to pay a maintenance fee for like into the store and stuff like that.
Right. 2 or 3 things about the RV, if I can. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry. Go ahead. 2 or 3 things about RV. If everybody brings an RV, see, we give 150 square feet per person. Every ticket bought, or if you're hosting an international club, say from Zimbabwe or anywhere in the world, we'll give you extra square footage, 150 square foot for that person you're hosting. All you do is provide an extra tent, put more water in the soup, and just feed them, and you'll have an international experience with your club. That's how the international guest program runs. But if everybody brings RVs, that sucks up a lot of square footage. It might be one person in a 40-foot RV, or 20-foot, whatever it is, size it. So it's up to the conference youth director to determine if they can accommodate how many RVs. Also depends on how many vehicles stay in the campsite throughout the camporee. Opening night, Tuesday night, is when it starts. Remember this, on Monday, about 35,000, 40,000 come on Monday. There's nothing going on Monday night. That's your own worship or whatever. If you're coming in on Monday, it starts at 6 a.m. Registration will open as early as that morning. You can come in later in the day. Come in at noon or 3 o'clock or whatever Monday. But then Tuesday, all the activities open at 12 noon on site. And so there's a lot of activities that'll start there. The honors. Our goal is to have over 200 honors. 30 of them will be international honors. They can only get at International Camporee because they're coming from different parts of the world. They're bringing their honors, which is really kind of, the Philippines are bringing some really cool honors that you can read about in the newsletter. So what was I trying to say? Oh, and then Tuesday night, opening night, is when it shuts down. The campground shuts down. So whatever vehicles are in the campsite, they stay there until Saturday night until they open up to release them. Or if an emergency happens, you have to exit the campground with your vehicle. You just can't come back in. You just have to stay out. But there is long-term parking right around the, I'll show you a map in just a minute, of the proposed map of where everybody's camping. We tell everybody it's a draft. It's not for sure, but it gives you an idea of what we're doing in Gillette, Wyoming. So the RV, there's pumping, gray water, fresh water, all that, but that's on the financial responsibility, not the camporee, but the person that owns the RV. Yeah. Yes, please.
Just for clarity, because I thought I heard you say earlier that 26,000 have registered.
Have signed up for the newsletter.
Oh, for the newsletter.
They're getting the newsletter,
Oh.
which from our standpoint is a great sign, because that's that many people this early, over a year and a half out, wanting to know about what's going on at the camporee. And that 26,000 was 23,000 6 months ago. We can't believe the interest. We're humbled by that. But if you were there at the last camporee, would you agree with me? There was a spirit there. There was a moment. I mean, when a 12-year-old is worshiping with thousands of other 12-year-olds from all over the world, they get it. They get everything in a different. Here's tingles on my arm if you can see it. It's just a special gathering God's given us. As I shared with the seminar yesterday, 2 other denominations came to visit us at the last camporee. Southern Baptist and the Catholic community, a lot of youth leaders from their organizations. And when I took them backstage, and there's a little perch you can go to and see out over the audience, and you get elevation, you can see out, and as far as you can see people. These 2 leaders from the other denomination looked at me and says, "We wish we had this for our denomination." And I said to them verbally, I said, "I wish you did too." But inside I was saying, "Thank you, Lord, what you've given my faith community. You've given us this amazing organization called Pathfinders and Club Ministry, Adventures and all. It's a gift from God. And because of you, we're using it, and we're using it to connect this generation to the relevancy and the love of Jesus, which the planet can't offer. No Hollywood movie. It's escape for 90 minutes, 2 hours. All you're doing is escaping to what Hollywood. But when you live ministry, when you worship ministry together like you will at camporee, it's just nothing like it. And you know how many baptisms? We ran out of Bibles. Everybody that's baptized, we give them Bibles. We have a special cloth that's monogrammed. You know, we have a sponsor for that they keep, they're baptized with. We have other gifts for them that are baptized. We thought faith, last one was 600, the largest number, 620. We thought, okay, 1,000, let's pray for 1,000. We blew through 1,000. 1,320 people were baptized at camporee. Amen. My European friends tell me this, that young adults, senior youth young adults in Europe, their context, they hear the call, they believe in God, but they just don't make a decision, you know, for public expression. Baptize, I want to go all the way, I want to publicly say. But when they come to camporee and they see thousands of their age group, hey, I'm ready to go. God's chosen, you know, me, so I'm going to choose back. That was the theme last time. God's chosen. Damian Chandler. Did you enjoy Damian? His messages and everything? Wasn't he spot on? Yeah, it's about being chosen by God. Let's choose back. That's what the whole theme. Now the next one's on believe the promise. the promise, Israel was captives in slavery, and there's a promise we're going to get you out, but after year, they were discouraged, everything, until Lord rose up, Moses, who said at the burning bush, not me, I can't talk, well, what's in your hand, Moses? Wait till you see that special effect on stage. We're working on it, and we're working with some experts in it. I'm telling you too much. Okay, listen. You're thinking, yes, you had a thought. Yes.
Do you give special baptismal certificates?
There's special baptismal certificate, and there's a special baptism pin that the kids get. It has the logo on it with the baptism. It's the only thing approved officially in the Adventist Church where you get, same thing with master guides, by the way. If you're invested as a master guide next summer at International Camp Parade, you get a master guide pin that has this logo connected to it. It's only given away at International Camp Parade. We had over 500-600 people invested at the master guide. As master guides, and we had the world's largest scarf. Remember that last time? Yeah. The Boy Scouts had it before us, but we grabbed it. And it took us 6 months after Camp Parade to get Guinness Book of World Records to approve it. It cost about $16,000 to $18,000 to get it certified, and we find sponsors. We don't use the money that your kids raise, that you raise. And by the way, I pay my ticket too, not out of my budget. I do a what's called a garage sale. And if my wife Betty sleeps in, I can do my ticket in one garage sale. If Betty's awake, if she's on it that Sunday morning, things I put out there, some things come back in. And it takes me 2 garage sales to get my ticket. But that's how I raise my money for my personal ticket. And there's my family, they all do it different ways because they have different things that they're involved in. One of my daughters is a nurse, and she just works an extra day, and 2 or whatever it is, and she works it out. They set goals, they get their tickets, we're all there. Everybody, every speaker, when the general conference person comes by, or our division leadership, they all buy their tickets. Because years ago, after a big camporee, a person came up to me, he's a dentist from the Northwest. He says, this is the best thing the Adventist Church does. I want to affirm you. It's so organized. I just loved it, blah, 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 blah. He says, but I heard some people got to come free. I said, well, yeah. I said, the medical staff and all, they support us and that kind of thing. He says, well, that's interesting. I appreciate them, the medical team. On that. He said, interesting enough, I'm self-employed. I shut down my dentist office for 2 weeks, and I raised $55,000 to bring 60 people out to the camporee. And I'm the director of the club. And I'm losing money because my office isn't open, and I'm still having to pay my staff. And he said, and that's okay, I'm happy to do that. But he says, you might want to think about, I guess I'm a volunteer too then, aren't I? You see his point? Yeah. And then that night, that day, it was an evening program at the end of the camporee. He gently said it, he was very kind about it. But he made a good point. I says, here forward, everybody is paying the same price. We'll keep the price as low as possible. By the way, the least expensive large event in the world, Adventist or not, is the International Camporee. I've had my graduate students at the seminary study it. No one's even close to our price point of $36, $38 a day. You take the $225 divided by 6 days, that tells you how much per day the ticket cost is. That includes your camping, all the activities, the evening program, all that kind of thing. So it's a great value that we have to share with each other. Adventist Risk Management has been really good over the years to get us our best price points, and you represent them. We appreciate them. They're also a corporate sponsor, which we appreciate. They put, I think, about over $30,000 in sponsorship. I have it on my plate to raise a little over $2 million outside of the camporee fee so that we can keep our costs down but keep the quality high. The fireworks program has been world-class every single time, and we want it to be world-class and personal right above us, and that's money that we don't have out of the registration fee. It's money I need to find from corporate America, and that's what we try. That's on me. That's my responsibility, to compliment you and what you do at the local club. Yeah. Well, I think we're about out of time. I know some of you need to get upstairs. Yes, ma'am.
I might have missed it. What did you say was the direct flight?
To Gillette, you mean?
Yeah.
There's no direct flight. That's in Atlanta. You're thinking Atlanta. There's direct flight to Atlanta. No, to get to Gillette, you gotta go here to here to here to, no, I'm just kidding. You just go to Denver and then it's right up from Denver up to United Airlines, go up to Gillette. Yeah. So I tease about it, because you gotta smile, it's just what it is. But, Pathfinders around the world, we figure out a way. We don't, this whole theme that we have called Limitless upstairs, we don't let the world put limits on what we're going to do with the young people under our care. Because we connect to God, it says in Scripture, without me, you can do what? Nothing. But with me, you can do what? Everything. So that's our greatest tip for the day, right? Let's just stay with God. Let's see where He's going to take us. He didn't bring you this far in leadership just to say, okay, we can't get your kids to Gillette. You can get them there. You can get them there if you just rely on God. Just stay with it. Stay with it. Keep mentioning. Pull the resources off the website, all these videos. My email address is Pastor Ron, with 2 R's, Pastor Ron, R-O-N, at andrews.edu, Andrews with a S.edu for education. Or my last name, Whitehead at andrews.edu. Whitehead, like the color, what's on our shoulders, Whitehead, and at andrews.edu. And so it works, they go the same place.
Say it again, please.
Whitehead at Andrews, Pastor Ron at andrews.edu. Both of them are andrews.edu. Well, I want to pray for you. I know you're meeting tomorrow. Is that right? There's a person in the room. You're going to try to get everybody together?
Yes, sir.
Put a strategy together. I think you're thinking.
I'm right here.
Okay, yeah, I looked over. Yeah, you move on me. You're fast. Impressive. You can get everybody together, brainstorm, start planning.
Yes, so tomorrow we meet at 9, I think 9:05, 9:15, thereabout, and the last session tomorrow. We meet in room number 5, conference room number 5, and we are going to brainstorm. We're going to hear your ask of what you want in the conference. Some of it will be done on the area level, some on the conference level, or state level chair. So if you are in the building, come tomorrow, and we are going to discuss how we are going to get from here over to Gillette. But without the tickets, we cannot plan because we don't have people we are planning for the conference. So that's key number 1. We have to have some kind of inventory. So the task when we leave here tomorrow is to get a report as to how many people from each club are planning to go. So we can say Northeastern, we are planning for 5,000, we're planning for 10,000. But we need to know what those numbers are going to be so we can say, okay, if I call United or I call Frontier or I call any airline to negotiate,
Right.
I need those numbers because if they ask me, I cannot estimate and then not be able to deliver, okay? Question.
Are we just gonna be going over how we're getting there, or are we gonna be going over everything total, like food, etc.?
We will discuss, it's very early about the food because people are very special about the food situation. So let's talk about transportation and tickets. I have a number of food vendors who want to talk about food right now, but I'm going to entertain them as yet. But let's try to take things in strides. And it begins to get your tickets, number 1.
There's a food court at the Camporee. Mostly in the morning, the kids, you have a big breakfast. They put a backpack on, you put the sandwiches in there. You don't see them till supper time at the end of the day, typically. Or you just give them $5, $6, whatever, and go to the food court for lunch if you don't want to pack them a lunch. So that's another option. There's a food court. Also, if you want to vend food, sell food at the Camporee, I can tell you about one club in North Carolina. They found a sweet spot. They figured out how to offer something very reasonable. They made over $22,000 after expenses at the last Camporee. And we're happy to have you do the same. This is kind of fun to show you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
2014 Forever Faithful International Camporee. Bibles were collected as part of the Bible in the Butt campaign and ships to Belize where Pathfinders distributed them to local communities.
Saturday, we're going to roam the entire village and giving out Bibles. Have some children who distribute Bibles, giving out Bibles.
So what's going on
After
here?
giving community members a Bible, Pathfinders invite them to a nightly evangelistic meeting.
And tell them by faith, I know you will enjoy this crusade.
Okay? Every Pathfinder has access to a Bible at their home. If they just bring one Bible, there's Bibles sitting around all our homes. Bring one Bible, put $1 with it for shipping and the support. We take the Bibles from Camporee and give it around the world where people are starving for Scripture. And here's an example where we gave it to Pathfinders in Belize so they could do evangelism with those Bibles. It's a simple, no-brainer idea that we've done for years at the Camporee. I just thought I'd make you aware of that. And then something brand new, brand spanking new. Let's see if I can, oh man. I'm not going to show it to you. We have a sculpture person, and we found a sponsor. It's about $45,000, $50,000. We met with Gillette, the art district in Gillette, Wyoming. They have over 100 statues already in their community, bronze statues. We're going to leave Moses in Gillette, Wyoming. He's doing a bronze statue this tall. It's going to have. They can't wait to have it. They'll install it and maintain it for perpetuity, forever. So we're going to leave Moses and his message there. You can see a picture of it in your newsletter. You'll see it on the website eventually. That's just another amazing thing that the Camporee offers us. And then I'll show you this last thing. The best way to fire up kids, young adults, people your age and back, is watch the nightly Bible story from 2019. This whole David Bible story. You can use it as a devotional for your club or Saturday night get together, pizza taco, whatever with the kids. Just watch the series. They binge, is that the right word? Binge, you just watch it. You can binge it, or you can separate it. It's 5 nights, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Or after they watch the story, do this. Underneath, we have a brand new series that came out last month. And it's the behind the scenes, the making of David. It shows you all the special effects. You get to meet the actors and actresses and how it's impacted their life. It's a great human interest. It's a great follow-up to the story. And here, you'll hear him say, 1, 2, 3, chosen. This is some of the actors. This shows you the video series, the making of...
3, 2, 1,
chosen.
Anything could happen. That's the whole thing about live theater.
I don't think it's going to hit me until I step out on that stage. But wow, 55,000 people.
This was such an important Bible character to portray. I was freaking out.
That's Goliath.
I looked down and I saw a sea of people, and I was like, this is happening.
Struggling to find the words. It was genuinely beautiful to be a part of.
It is so much work, so many layers, but when you know this is for God and how He can touch lives with this story, it's all worth it.
That's the docu-series. There's 6. We just released it. The phrase is we just dropped it. Work with me, buddy. Work with me. We just dropped them. And they're being watched in watch parties and all over the world by Pathfinders and those that are supporting Pathfinders. Close with this story. Have a word of prayer for you. In Mongolia, there's a young person, a Pathfinder, that texts me, or I should say emails me, ever so often. He tells me it's his dream to come to Gillette, Wyoming. That's his dream. He's seen it online. He's seen the powerful story. He just wants to meet Pathfinders from all over the world. 6 days a week, every day of the week except his worship day, he's polishing shoes. For 4 years, he's polishing shoes so he can come to Gillette, Wyoming. Because he wants to meet the kids from Northeastern. He wants to meet kids from all over the world. To that end, I'm going to pray for you right now. Can you stand with me, please? Yes, sir. Yeah.
Based on the response from the community, that seems as if it's going to become a permanent site. Is that possible?
Yeah, the community wants to come to the evening program. We told them they can't because it's restricted, because we do background checks on everybody associated with the kids. But because we have the 100 megabyte, we're going to be streaming it to them in the community. We're going to set up a special channel just for the community. Is that, yeah, and they're thrilled with that. They're excited.
That's not actually the
Oh,
question.
I'm sorry, yeah.
I'm saying that Gillette, Wyoming, the campsite itself,
Yes,
they seem to be welcoming.
yes.
the movement. So I'm saying that's gonna be the spot for years to come.
Oh, years ago, yeah. We think we'll do it there twice for sure. We don't know the future after that, but it's too much, it's quite an investment, more than I thought, to move us from place to place. It's been very expensive, time and treasure, it's very expensive. So we don't want to just go one time, we'll be there at least twice. We sure would. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I would like to play Moses' wife. How do you do that?
Yes, ma'am. Go online. Go online. They're calling you. I'm sure there might be in the mail something. I don't know. I'm sure it won't be long. But go online and audition. Let me pray for you. Let me pray for you. Thank you for that offer, though. Thank you. Father God, I just celebrate this organization called Northeastern Conference. For decades, as I've come here, early in my ministry to this part of my ministry, I'm always inspired by the enthusiasm and passion this conference has for their young people. Also, this group is not quitters. They don't lay down. They don't think of limits. They think of limitless opportunities to connect this generation to your love. So be with them as they plan for next summer. And we know we're stronger with you than without you. So help us to stay close to you. We pray in your name. And all the people said, Amen. Amen. Thank you for your time. I'll put the map up there if you want to see the map.